Yes. Welcome. Please start.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good evening, everyone. So, welcome back to yet another, learning session, learning space with Maven here. And today I'm going to talk about a topic which is not spoken much, and not I many a times I feel it's not given importance to as much as we give. It's something called a fine dining etiquette or a fine dining experience. Uh, there are a couple of reasons why I chose this topic for today is because sometimes we just don't, give importance or give a lot of time to the smallest of the things which we end up doing in our day-to-day life, isn't it? Many a times we don't give much of its importance. Do we? Many a times it's not, even to the smallest tweaks which we sit and make. Have you ever wondered? We have seen different kinds of cutleries, different types of spoons, different types of forks, different types of plate sizes, different types of glasses. Where majority where when we start traveling, we start noticing these things, isn't it? Has anyone noticed and wondered, you know, uh, you know, for which occasion or for which item or for which food item should I use this kind of setting? Have you ever wondered as to to how to do, what to use, when to use? Have you ever encountered these kind of situations? Anyone?
Mm, not really.
Not
Not
real.
We haven't paid too much attention as you mentioned.
Yes, we must have not paid too much of attention. See, next time when especially we encounter these kinds of situations, especially when we go to five-star hotels, you know, what to use, how to use, when to use, what kind of plate to use for what. Many a times we encounter these kinds of situations. I'll just, show you a pictorial format of this. A very small thing, but many a time we don't know how to use and when to use this. One second, just give me a minute. Let me just share my screen so that you can have a look. Can you see my screen? I
Yeah.
hope everyone can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is just a quick and very crisp and clear session. We'll start deep diving into this in the coming sessions. And this is one of the unique uh, sessions which I give to my clients. Or if any individuals encounter these kinds of situations where they are frequent in traveling abroad countries, because different countries will have different way of implementing their style of art in even in setting up a dining table. Many a times we do this for festive seasons, isn't it? For Christmas, for different festive seasons, we start doing these kinds of decorative setting of meal. How many here have heard of this thing called the 7 course meal or seven, all this kind of variety of meals? Have anyone heard of it?
Yes. Have done it.
Yes.
Yes.
In many at least it's not very popular. I don't think so. It's not popular here, but it's very popular out in other countries wherever I have seen. So it's a very small thing, but even that small thing makes a big difference in the way we start interacting with individuals. Say, Say for example, you have a guest who has come from a different country, and you will have to host them. Okay, and sometimes you get so anxious and nervous as to what should be done. We all encounter this kind of a situation, or you must have heard people saying this. Very simply put, you see this particular slide, I'm just taking this as an example where, when you're traveling, how many of you here travel abroad, if I may ask you?
I do.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, thank you. So many a times, at least since even I also travel quite a lot and sharing my experience here, sometimes in some countries they don't even like hearing the cutlery sound, especially when you're mixing your tea or coffee. Many times when we're having a soup or having a salad, sometimes many people get irritated or annoyed about hearing the cutlery sound. So how can we do that in a more simple, but yet you want to have that elegance of eating? If you are if you are a food lover or who loves becoming artistic even while you are eating. See, I know it is little daunting, because small thing, why to give this much of an importance you might encounter in that. This is just a value added uh, session which I want to give away, but in a very short and crisp manner, isn't it? Maybe today's after session you can just try. Maybe the next session I'll show you the demo of how it's being done. Imagine when you're having a soup, okay, because it's a very liquid form, you're having a soup, okay. Usually what do we do when you want to have a soup? If somebody can tell me, usually how do you have a soup? I know it can sound funny, but still, how do you have a soup?
Having a soup is just putting your spoon to your mouth. And
What we usually do, we scoop this soup, or we take the soup from the other corner of the bowl instead of, or other corner of from the middle we take, isn't it? When you
yes.
are putting the spoon inside your bowl, isn't it? That's what usually happens. But if you want to have it in a more refined manner, where you are hosting a, you know where you're hosting your guest, maybe who has come from a different country, or you might have to travel to a different countries. So how can you do that in a more elegant way or more sophisticated way? If you are little very curious in learning these kinds of things, I'm just telling you this. Imagine you have a bowl in your hand. I will, go on a deeper demonstration of these kinds of things in the coming up weeks. On every Tuesday, when I'm taking a session, I will come up with a demo as to how it can be done. Imagine you have a soup bowl in your hand and you have a spoon. Okay. And usually, what happens, we just, you know, uh, take the soup in the spoon just from the middle. Instead of doing that, scoop out your spoon from towards from your side. You scoop it outwards, so that what happens, that crackling sound or these kinds of things gets avoided. Okay. Many a times this happens that different sizes of forks. Okay, before we go forward, any questions?
No.
No? Rajman, any questions?
This is pertaining to me also. So I will ask at the end of the session. Thank you.
No, if you want to ask then and there, please do ask then and there. There's nothing wrong in it,
Uh,
because it's
uh,
always
um,
better to get the questions answered
no,
then and there.
I would like to, holding the utensils properly. So some of it has to uh, you hold the utensil, it may shake. So how do you prevent it? Thank you.
You are trying to ask how can you prevent the utensils from shaking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, this happens during, in what kind of a meal? Do you find it in every time when you have your food, or when do you find this difficulty?
Uh, when I when I have both sides, when I have a spoon and a fork.
Okay.
So much so I get demotivated. I just have a spoon only.
See, that time what you can do is, yes, sometimes you need two utensils or one spoon or one fork or one fork and one knife. Yes, all these different, differences in using utensils can happen. First we need to understand, or you just try and see as to in which hand, if you hold, what is comfortable for you. When that comfort is not there, only that's when all these kinds of difficulties of eating or difficulties of making that sound is little annoying who's sitting with you, all these things start disturbing. Then see in which hand for you certain utensils are comfortable. See, there's a general set of, okay, this is, for example, even using your fork and your knife. Fork, you usually have it in your left hand and your knife is usually on your right hand. But before that we need to understand, in which utensils, which hands is comfortable for you. Say for right handers, using a knife on a right hand would work better, or for left handers it will be the vice versa. So we need to understand as to what is your comfort, and accordingly you can do, because there are a lot of left handers also. So majorly, if your majority, if it's your right or left, so that's where your comfort leans to. Does that answer your question, Rajvi?
Yes.
Yes. So you see as to what is your comfort.
Thank you.
Because see, now couple of people, people have joined me here. Shabna ma'am will have a different, perspective to this. Meena ma'am will have a different perspective. Shanta ma'am will have a different perspective. So it is, see, these are just additional information which you can gather so that it can help you in some point. And there is certain, general instructions or general things which has been put out, but it's all depends on our comfort. And that comfort, other people's comfort, is not something I am allowed to question it. It is their comfort, they are doing it that way. But what I'm trying to bring in here is, with your own comfort, how can you do things in more, little more in an elegant way or in a sophisticated manner, depending upon your situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And also even your, your conversations, the kind of conversations you have with the people, or you have with your, friends or family, or whoever you are sitting with, or whoever you're having the conversation. It depends on that, how do you want to start a conversation when you are having, when you are in this kind of a setting. How do you want to start a conversation? Different people will have different ways of starting a conversation and ending a conversation, isn't it? Even as simple as that, giving a small compliment to people and who's serving you. Or say, if you, and say, we need to understand who's hosting. Are we the host, or is someone else is hosting us as a guest? That also plays a major role, isn't it? Yes. And there will be differences from your, uh, you know, uh, the spoons which you use for a soup. the spoons which you use for a salad. What happens is when it's a soup spoon, it'll be like a, little depth inside in the in the front part. If you look at this picture, I'll show you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. If you see this, can you see this, the picture of the spoon here? It'd be little in a, what you call, in a scoopy manner. Maybe like it'll not be as deep as your ice cream scoop spoon, but it'll be little, it'll be little deep and it'll be little shallow also. And it differs. The spoon size will be bigger when you're using for a salad. It'll be different. Yeah. Yes, Rajvin.
Yeah, so I will ask after the.
No. Go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead.
No, I have nothing for now.
Okay, fine. So,
This looks like a tablespoon.
yes, this is just a sample, picture which I've just taken up. So basically, there are that the mouth of the spoon will have different sizes depending upon to what kind of, food or to what kind of occasion you're using. It differs. The mouth of the spoon size will differ, with different, in different stages of the course of the meal. It'll differ. Say, in case if you're going out, you ask for an ice cream spoon, they'll bring little more shorter. The mouth of the spoon will be little more smaller so that it's easy for you to have the ice cream. Because what happens is many a times I face this, or even with my clients, I face this where they're very confused as to how, how frequent we have to change plates when you're going and having a buffet meal, or how frequent do we have to change our plates, or where what cutlery should be used in each courses of the meal. Many a time this happens in a la carte. They have there's a different rules or different way of handling that particular situation. So this is just the gist of what I wanted to bring in today. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me right now. See, this kinds of sessions is morely, it's more of a customized kind of a session depending upon what the individual or what the organization wants. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Yes, Meena ma'am. In different countries, they have a certain expected set of rules, or where we'll have to follow no matter what. As rightly Meena ma'am has said, changing plate every time before you go for your next, when you go for your next serving or your next round of meal, every time they change plates. So we need to understand as to, or we need to study about their country's culture, their food habits, the dining etiquette. Different countries will have different dining etiquettes. When I say fine dining, it's nothing but when you go to a 5-star hotels, or majorly 5-star hotels will have this fine dining setting. If you have visited these kinds of hotels, they'll have. But on the same lines, if you go for a normal, local, this thing, their focus will not be this. But it depends with the clients, it depends with people, it depends on the country, it depends on various factors, these kinds of experiences you will be having.
So, Darshini, have you experienced something which is very peculiar to India?
Peculiar to in see, this is just my opinion or my perspective is here I don't think a lot of attention is not given to these kinds of small things, or I feel it's more least bothered. I feel that way. But especially, say, when I went for a conference to to a different country, sometimes they expect even the tourists or travelers having sushis with the chopsticks which is being offered. So sometimes it gets very difficult when you have to follow these things. And I've seen in many places where they start using even forks to have rice. So depends, different places have their own ways of taking things forward for themselves.
Yeah,
So
even in
yes.
China, they use those sticks for rice and everything.
So yeah, so it's different things, but many a times I get questions on these aspects. That's why I decided to take this kind of a topic for today. I know it's difficult a little bit on the online mode, but I'm planning to have a physical sessions for this particular topic where you get an hands-on experience to experience as to how fine dining experience will be with a proper fine dining table setting. If anyone is interested, you all let me know.
Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, I always have a problem eating sushi.
I think
And my daughter
many of
tells
them has
me,
that problem,
you know,
not only
I'm
you.
always told, have the whole thing. How can you have the whole thing? Your mouth is not so even big.
Yes, I agree. So you let me know if anybody is interested, or let's see how we can do it in more effective way online. If that is possible, let's see how things work, and we will take it forward from there.
Bring some sushi and teach us how to eat. It's very difficult. It,
It's
it's
okay. It's okay.
it's
See,
everybody loves sushi, and I find it the most difficult thing to eat and appreciate.
even for that
Your mouth
even
is
for that
full. You can't talk. You can't swallow. It's horrible.
even many a times it happens with noodles, spaghetti, different foods. It happens even for me itself. So I can completely relate. So let's see how online we can see, because offline we'll have to see how which city there are a lot of participants to come and participate for this kind of an session, and accordingly we can plan something out like that.
Awesome. It would be nice to do.
Maybe it will be great if you can put you're from which city, so that maybe I can get an idea as to where I can plan a session like this.
Yeah. So Uma ji, Subhash ji are from Delhi. I am from Delhi. Rajvin is from Malaysia. I don't know where
I,
is Santa Meena ma'am.
she's from Chennai. Okay. So okay, we will do one thing. I just curate one a session on this online itself, maybe through videos, maybe through interactive learning. I'll plan one and I'll let you know if that helps. I
Yes.
know people are from different cities and it's difficult. So I think online we will see. I'll see happens in a best level. I'll see that it happens in a more effective manner, and we'll see. And I can also teach you different ways of folding a napkins, your table napkins. How can it be folded? How can you set your dining space for a fine dining, for a fine dining setting? All that is coming up in the coming up sessions. And I will also share a lookbook as to lookbook and its uses, and with different things in it. I will share that also in the in the forum,
Oh,
if that helps.
yes.
I know it's little too exhausting, or it's little too much to initially to start with, but it's okay. I mean, it's always good to know these kinds of things. Yeah.
So one
Fine.
tip you can give us today, like that we should practice every day.
Very simple. When you're, I think many of you like having teas of coffees. Yes, again, thank you, Shabna ma'am. It comes with a lot of practice. This does not come overnight. Sometimes it can be irritating. If you're open to exploring, please feel free to go and explore. Say, for example, stirring of your coffee or tea after you had your sugar. Try stirring without a sound, like that crackling sound of the cup or the mug which you use. Try stirring without the sound and see how much you're able to do it. Can we all just start with that small activity? I'm not going into too much of a detailed one, but just let's start with that and see how it works.
Yeah, but yeah, in case like we get the tea, you know, where we are, in that case we can try to
Okay,
do
what I'll do
everything
is
without
in
sound.
okay, what I'll do is next session, uses and how you can use different cutleries in different sizes can be used for what. I'll take a session on that, so that after that I will give you small tips what you can do. Does that help?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
definitely.
I think that helps more than me giving right away for in this particular session. Like Uma ma'am was saying, she's finding it difficult to eat sushis. We will come up to a solution for that also. Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
you should do.
I completely understand. Oh.
Yeah. Umaji, do you have another question?
I think people are so interested in hearing these kind of topics.
No, I don't have. I mean, I'm basically have a lot of problem eating sushi.
It's okay, ma'am. It's okay.
And I
It's
can
just
eat
one
with
item.
chopsticks.
Huh?
I can eat rice also with chopsticks. So it's for me, it's not a problem.
Uh, it's okay. We will figure out a way to this now. Yeah. Rajbin, any questions?
And you're right about stirring tea. A lot of people in India, they have to do this tuck, 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 tuck sound and can be very irritating. Uh,
Especially when you're
well,
outside, you'll have to be very careful.
Mm.
yeah, they watch you how you're eating. The food has to come to your mouth, not you go to the food.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hello, Neil. Hello.
I think if no more questions, we can call this as a session and catch up next week.
Yeah, sure. You made us very hungry now.
See, I am a person who believes even that small things matters, and that is why I took up this particular topic for today as a
Thank you
session.
for a good session, and I would like to know how to use a spoon and fork in a public setting. Maybe next
No,
session.
definitely. I'm coming up with those kinds of topics because see, this is one of the segment where when we give image consulting as a package, it's not just about food. Even this small things matters. So that's when I started incorporating this kind of a session as a final segment for clients who comes to me for image consulting. Even for training I give, but training is more you know if the client requests for it, then I give. Otherwise, this is a final segment what we give the clients, at least when they come as for image consulting. This is the final segment which finish off with the package for.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much.
It was really wonderful. And we are looking forward to your next session with a lot of your clips. If we are not eating, then we can see.
Okay, I
Doing
will
that.
make it as interactive as effective as possible. Being in an online setting, I will make sure that happens. Yeah.
I think you can record your small clips of doing that. So
That I will, plan it out and I will let you know.
awesome. So thank you everyone, and
Thank you so much.
and see you again.